Hello, my name is Joe, and welcome to another edition of Joe's Super Fantabulous PC Gaming channel, where I'm having fun in Planetbase, where I'm going through the various different challenges to try and get the final achievement in Planetbase, which is the Hyper Challenger, where you do all the built-in challenges. And as you can see, I'm here on the Dark Moon Challenge, where I'm out in the middle of nowhere. We're beyond the trading space lanes. There's no visitors that will come here, or at least no good visitors that will come to get services from our base, and I have to make everything that I need to on site with whatever colonists I'm able to recruit. And my goal here is to recruit 300 colonists to make this a nice viable colony. So I've been working at getting the infrastructure set up, meteorite defenses, watching out for hostile attackers, of which there have been a few. We've had some deaths when they've gotten in. This is why we locate the landing pad and the starport far away from the entrance to the base to give us time to react in case the wrong types of people land. But what I'm looking at now is I'm catching up on production. We had some problems with having reliable power because there is no atmosphere, so we can't use wind turbines. We have to generate all our power from solar power and be able to store it. The days are short, the nights are long, and for a while there it was a little bit of a challenge because as we would expand, we'd have to expand the infrastructure to be able to generate more power. So I think we've gotten a little bit ahead of what we need to, and so I'm trying to catch up on producing raw materials of bioplastics and metal so that we can use that for expanding the base. Now, we're way ahead on bioplastic, but we're a little behind when it comes to metal production. So let's see. The good thing is that all our mining is automated, so we have robots doing the job in order to help us to catch up. But as many robots as we have, I'm thinking we might need just a few more. So here, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and choose a location. The robots don't mind how far away it is from the airlock. With humans, it's more of an issue, depending on how long they're on the surface, but the robots can take care of it. Now, in order to compensate for that, here, let's see. We'll go ahead and we'll say that we'll cap ourselves at 20 drill bots. And so this quota that I just set is communicated to engineering, which has a, let's see, where is the robotics bay? Come think of it, there it is. So as they make robots here, by having the cap raise, that allows them to go and make more robots until they hit their limit, and then they'll stop, and that way those materials are available for other things like making semiconductors, making spare parts. The semiconductors, at least for this installation, have a few different uses. First, we use them to put up bot repairs. They're also used for making more robots. And then most importantly, they're used for the anti-meteorite defenses. In fact, I'm thinking that at this point I have so many robots, I probably need to put up another robotics bay. However, this bay won't be focused on making robots, it'll only be focused on repairing them. So here, let's see. And this will allow us to make a nice little connection here. I was trying to think of what would be good to connect for this section of the base as we begin to expand. Because currently we only have 90 colonists. We need to reach 300 in order to win this challenge. So I was trying to figure out which direction it is that the base is going. Now, wherever possible, I kind of like to do a little landscaping and shim down some of these obstacles to construction. However, once they're above a certain height, they can't be dealt with. There are others that can be. So in this case, I went ahead and flattened this whole area. And the way the Planetbase works is that it remembers where the landforms were. So even if you manage to clean up the landforms, they will come back unless something is built in their place. So this was a little hill here, and I flattened it down and built a bunch of solar panels here. And so now it grows back in between the panels. We see the same thing here in the base where there was a big old hill here that would have impeded construction. I flattened all of that, and once you save the game and come back, it remembers where those landforms were and kind of puts them back, minus whatever locations are built upon. So it's just a quirk of the way Planetbase works. Now the good thing is that we have plenty of robots for transporting things and for construction. So most of these constructions outside will be able to be handled by robotic teams rather than having humans come out onto the surface. This is important because as we get further and further away, I mean the nearest airlocks to this location are here and here. Whoops, oh, there. And it would be a bit of a jaunt across the surface for humans. I'd prefer robots do these. They're faster and they can speed across the surface and get things done. Okay, so the robotics facility is up, and now it's just a matter of connecting it. And once it's connected, we can go ahead and queue up the construction for all the bot auto repairs. So that's the only purpose for this area, is to provide more auto repair facilities for bots. Since we have 42 of them, my thought is that the 4 bot auto repairs that we have, because we only have a total of 4 pads, probably isn't enough. And we're going to be adding more robots in the future in order to supplement the human workforce. So we'll go ahead and build a whole facility dedicated strictly to robot repair. And it's far enough away that this saves the bots the trouble of going all the way to that section of the base. As we expand outwards here, it'll end up being basically centrally located for this section. Let's see, how are we doing with meteorite defense? Okay, well the perimeter extends out to here, but as we get closer, we'll have to expand our defenses. Put up another anti-meteorite laser to cover the base as it comes out. We want to ensure that everything we've worked on doesn't get hit. We have had some colonists that have died from meteorite strikes, so we're trying to avoid having that happen in the future. Even if we have the defenses up and with lots of coverage, in the event of a power outage, it's the same as if we don't have any. And so I've had people die as a result of power outages where the defenses were down, even though they were in place and would have covered that area. When the power fails, everybody's left open to whatever falls out of the sky. And so that's something bad that we want to avoid whenever possible. So they'll expand that bot repair as the materials become available. We have other sections here like a biodome and a lab which are intended for future expansion. So even if we're not ready to use facilities yet, we are putting them down in place so that they will be available when we have the colonists to support them. Speaking of which, I'm thinking to myself, this section of the base probably needs some additional birthing facilities. So since we know that we have solar panels out this way, we could probably have like a row of cabins that will provide people with housing. And let's see. And here we have basically a satellite canteen that is intended to provide meals to all these people that live in this area and work here. This allows the workers to be able to get their needs met for entertainment, for food in the general vicinity. Matter of fact, speaking of entertainment, let's see. Can we fit any screens in here? Oh, we can. All right. We have plenty of bioplastics, so I'm always looking for ways to use up more bioplastics, and well, I guess that's the only one that's going to fit. Screens require a bulkhead in order to be installed, and so we're using this canteen as a central hub, so there's not a lot of bulkhead space. The good thing is that the canteen uses its services primarily in the middle of the canteen rather than on the perimeter of it, with the exception of the screens. So And the screens provide a little bit of entertainment for someone who's having a down day, and they can watch Planetbase news and I guess feel better. I'm not sure how entertaining that would be. Well, I see lots of people who are tired, so hopefully they'll be going to bed and getting some rest soon. You know, one thing I don't know is we have 90 colonists. I don't know how many beds we have. Unfortunately, that's one of the things I think that I'm hoping Planetbase 2 will include. I don't know if they will. Is there really should be a count of total beds so that you can see how many colonists do I have versus how many beds. I mean, yeah, you can probably get away with half as many beds as you have colonists, so they could sleep in shifts, or maybe even, you know, one bed for 3 colonists if you want to do the hot rack where, you know, a colonist gets up, another colonist goes to sleep, and the bed is never cold. Yeah, you can see this dorm is full. Although the dorm doesn't provide the same level of comfort that a cabin does. I'm actually surprised that with cabins available that anyone would willingly sleep in the dorms, since the cabins provide more comfort, and they also give a little bit of boost to, let's see, what does Planetbase call their version of happiness? Morale, there we go, morale. So it's a little morale boost, you know, you get a little, of course, as you can see, you know, they mean happiness, see the little happy face. And so anything that boosts morale is indicated, so watching video screens makes people happy. Another interesting thing is exercising makes people happy. Playing on the exercise bar, you know, doing chin-ups, staring at the decorative plant. You know, I like to call this the happy plant because of that. There's even the happy bench, although I'm not really sure why the happy bench makes people happy. I mean, does it vibrate or something? Who knows? Some mysteries of Planetbase probably need to remain mysteries, but for some reason, you know, taking it easy there on the bench makes people happy. I guess because the rest of the time they're just running around working, eating, you know, doing all kinds of other stuff, and so. Although generally, nothing makes people happier, faster than alcohol, and that's why we have these bars. So I have this bar set up here. Actually, I think it's the only bar we've set up so far in this colony. So that's probably the next thing that I'll look at setting up is a satellite bar. Because the further people have to walk to various different services in order to get their needs met, the less happy they are about it, or at least I think that's the way it works. So let's see. We can see about setting up a bar here for future expansion, and the bar will be able to generate drinks based on vegetables that are grown right there at the biodome, and if there are overages, then it can also take them from the storage. So it's a great place to be able to feed the bar. And I like to do the bar in 2 parts. So I'll have a large bar, which is all drinks machines, and a small bar connected to it, which is just seating. There's a canteen right over here, but I was tempted to have another one that will facilitate food for a whole bunch of sections that'll be over here, but maybe I'm not quite far enough. So, you know what? Let's see. We can never get enough storage. Storage is the problem. So here, we'll put another storage area here. The monolith has been completed. So this is intended to provide prestige for our colony, so that when we go to recruit more colonists, they're like, wow, I want to be at the colony that has a monolith. And as you can see, our status is considered excellent, and our prestige is 426 out of 1,000. So when colonists choose which colony to go to, hopefully, more often than not, they choose us. But here, let's make some more facilities before we recruit any more colonists. Now, one of the things I'm noticing is that our food is starting to go down. So we have reached a tipping point where we're consuming the food that we are generating. Well, apparently not the meat, but definitely the vegetables. The bar is probably partly responsible for that. Yeah. People are able to drink those vegetables away quite rapidly. It's like a V8 with a little bit of kick. So the next type of colonists I plan to recruit are biologists, in anticipation of opening up new biodomes. So here, let's go ahead and fire up the starport and the landing pad, and we are open for new recruits. And like I said, everyone can see that our colony status is excellent, and that we've got quite a bit of prestige, so hopefully that induces them to want to land here. Now I have to keep an eye out. I have to watch and make sure that we don't have hostile visitors that land at the landing pads. Otherwise we could have a bad day, especially if they make it inside the facility. We have no weapons. Now, to be fair, we could produce some weapons, and at some point I might just go ahead and do that. I was debating whether or not I should bother. It's just engaging in laser battles is so annoying, but then again, so is stopping all the production in the mines and whatnot every time I have to lock somebody outside to try and let them asphyxiate. But that would be another use that we would need for semiconductors, is that they're needed for weapons. Alright, let's see who gets off. Okay, good. These are biologists. And we need you. On the plus side, all of these domes require lots of bioplastics, of which we've got plenty. So this helps to, by staging all this construction, getting things out of the storage domes, because they are always overflowing. We're doing a pretty good job of production. Speaking of which, this lab is probably going to produce meat when the time comes. I'm not going to actually build these yet. Well, I could just shut it down, but I like to be dramatic, so I'll leave them there. They won't actually be constructed until the dome is activated. One of the benefits that the lab offers is that if I had, say, a sudden surge in terms of population growth, and then found out belatedly, oh no, we don't have enough food processing, the labs are able to generate meat very rapidly, and they can keep our colonists from starving to death. Oh, that was the meteorite defense laser shooting down something that was coming down within the defense perimeter. Could have damaged the colony. Oh, wait a minute, guys. Wait, no. You know what? Ah, shoot. He's going to wall himself up in there. All right, let me stop you from doing that. Oh, okay, well, wait a minute. Maybe he won't be stupid. Okay. Sometimes they wall themselves up when I'm trying to do these kinds of constructions. It looks like this time it was actually done intelligently. So if this section gets put together from the outside instead of going on the other side and walling themselves in, we should be okay. It's going to take a while for these sections to pressurize. Okay, yeah, that should be powered down. Whoops. Uh-oh. Ship landing. Okay, good, good. More biologists. This will ensure that we have the capacity for our team members. Well, no, actually I don't have to power down storage, but we are powering down the bars until such time as they're needed. Let's see. Let me check in on that bot repair section. Okay, well, we've got 2 of them up. The sticking point, of course, is going to be semiconductors. So once we have enough semiconductors and all these get put up, then we can finally start generating a surplus. And it's good to see that the bot repair is in use. It's always nice to get a reminder from the meteorites. They're like, hey, still here. And that fell well within the defense perimeter. I don't know, maybe they didn't feel it was an issue because it was landing short of the base, but I would have thought that they would hit anything that falls within this sphere. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not really sure how Planetbase's logic is on that. I mean, we have a 94% interception chance, unless that meteorite rolled a 95 or above on the RNG. Who knows? Okay, some of these are pending. Yeah, it's probably going to the bot repair that I have queued up. I'm wondering how long it'll be before we have some extra semiconductors. Okay, good. Even more biologists. So we should have no problems with food generation, because we recruited 10 new biologists. They'll be able to work the various different facilities. Of course, this also is taxing our existing food supplies until such time as I actually expand them. Speaking of which, I was thinking, I know that we need to grow by another 200 colonists, so we'll go ahead and put in another biodome right here. And this is probably far enough out that it would make sense to go ahead and put in another satellite canteen. And wouldn't that be a terrible thing? As you saw, I I added a cabin next to a biodome, so imagine never being late for work because you sleep where you work. There's no escape. It's like, hey, wake up. It's like, I still got like a couple hours. No, Merv didn't come into work today, man. We need you. Like, that would suck. I've worked jobs like that where I lived on site. I do not recommend it if you can avoid that. The good thing is I see that with the extra mine, we are catching up on our ore production, and processing is keeping up with that with no problem. So that's ensuring that we have the raw materials, because there's plenty of bioplastics. Metal has been the issue in order to keep these semiconductor foundries going the whole time. Okay, good. Got more. Speaking of which, let's see, at this point we have 26 biologists. No, we could probably use some more. I'm looking here at the ratios of engineers, of workers. One of the things I was thinking about with semiconductors is that it's going to be a slog in order to get all the way up to 300 colonists if I have to shut down everything every time we're under an attack. And I'm like, I mean, it was great locking them out the door when we were small, but in order to get proportionally bigger, I am thinking about hiring some guards, which means making weapons, which means semiconductors. That's why I want that semiconductor foundry factory to churn out as many as possible, get all this stuff here online so that the bots have what they need, and then have some left over for weapons. But it takes a long time in order to make one of these semiconductors. It's lots and lots of work. Oh, good. These are all complete. So someone needs to pick those up, take them where they're needed. We should see some carrier bots come in and start grabbing those. Yep, right on cue. There goes the semiconductor, and I will bet you this is going to the bot repair. Yep, that's exactly where it's going to. So the bot repair is queued up, and that probably takes priority. One of the things I've noticed about Planetbase is that when you put in orders for construction or other stuff, certain things take priority over others. For example, constructions internal to the base take priority over constructions on the surface. And inside the base, constructing a bot repair takes priority over making a new bot. So you notice, even though we have this factory next door to in this bot area, the new semiconductors are not going to the workshops. They're going to the bot auto repair, so that we can go ahead and build out all of the items that I've requisitioned. So after this, we just need 3 more, and then the bot repair will be completely online. And as you can see, the bots are making good use of it. This ensures that the bots stay in good working order and fulfill all of their jobs throughout their operational lifetime. Whoops! Oh, okay. I didn't see this one land, but at least it's nobody bad coming off of that ship. We had a traumatic injury from a worker? I guess, oh, we must not have enough robots to work in the mines. At least not yet, because the semiconductors are, because I opened up a new mine, and I increased the number of robots that we're going to have, but because I indicated that bot repair needed to be done, all the semiconductors are going towards that and not to the bot workshops. So we probably have room to make more robots, but they won't be made until those bot repair work sites have been fulfilled with their needs first. Then the semiconductors will be sent over to the bot workshops. So hurry up, guys. It's a lot of hard work. Oh, there's one that's complete. So again, we're going to see a carrier bot come in and grab this finished semiconductor, or a human, but more likely a bot. And as soon as that bot takes it away, then we'll be able to, oh, here comes a carrier bot. Are you the one? No, he's passing by. Oh, he's just going to go get repaired. There we go. Now that's interesting. I didn't realize the constructor bots would actually carry stuff to job sites. I thought they would just build things, but apparently they will, as long as they've been ordered to actually build it. So we have 3 to go, and 1 is on the way. That'll leave just 2. Oh, and here comes another ship. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and temporarily turn off the starport and the landing pad, and that way I can see about expanding our food generation, because I'm watching these numbers and they are going down. Of course, you know, we're adding new colonists very quickly, and we have not expanded the amount of food we're generating. Oh, even the meat is finally going down as people start to eat that stuff. Yeah, bioengineered meat, yum yum. At the time of this recording, that's actually a scandal that's in the news recently. A executive from the Campbell's Soup Company apparently was recorded saying that all the meat was bioengineered in Campbell's soup. Ugh. I've told all my relatives, don't eat that stuff. It sounds bad. You know what? Here, let's go ahead and, until there are people actually in this area, we will wait on this. So they don't need to build out this cabin right now. But it will be available in the future. And we'll shut down this biodome until it's needed. But here, let's see. What are we going to put in here? Let's say tomatoes. Everybody loves tomatoes. Lettuce. Wheat. And radishes. And we'll stage out how the bar is going to look. Give the bar a little bit of entertainment, so if you want to stand in the Venomat and watch TV, you can. Then the bar will need seating. I don't believe that there's any difference between the seating, whether it's sitting or standing, but I like to put in a variety just in case there is. Give them lots of screens. Any good bar will have a few. Okay, I don't have enough room for water fountains, but there'll be water fountains next door. So you can wet your whistle either alcoholically or non-alcoholically. Take your pick. And at this point, we're probably far enough away from the other canteens that that's always disconcerting. But again, it didn't hit the base proper, so maybe that's why the defenses didn't fire. I'm not sure. Well, even if humans have to supplement the robots in the mines, at least for now, until such time as we catch up with robot production, if we have traumatic injuries, we have a fully stocked sick bay ready to go so that we can see the patients, get them treated right away, and back to work. In the early part of this colony, that was one of our problems, is that we would have multiple people getting injured, and we didn't have a lab in order to produce the medical supplies or even medicinal plants in the biodomes to provide the supplies that we need in order to produce those medical supplies to heal people and get them back to work. So I would have like 5 workers, and 3 of them would have traumatic injuries and wouldn't work. They would just mope around and eat and sleep until such time as I could get them healed. Now that's not a problem. Everybody can work all the time. Oh, what a joyous planet to be on, huh? Eat, sleep, work. That's all there is to do on this planet. Well, a little bit of entertainment. You can watch some TV, have some alcohol. I kind of like the way they did it on The Expanse, if you ever saw that show or read any of the books, and where they've got brothels and all kinds of other livelier entertainment, casinos and whatnot in space. So I hate seeing people carrying this stuff out, because they're coming a long ways from an airlock, and so their O2 levels are going down. I would much rather see robots carrying this stuff out. I'm taking that as a sign that we don't have enough carrier bots, so we'll increase the number of carrier bots that we have to 70. So that's how we control our bot population. So we can indicate a specific cap, and the bot workshops will continue producing bots until they hit that cap. Okay, let's shut down this canteen. Oh, good. Look at that. The very last one has been completed. Or, well, I should say staged. So all the materials are there. Once it gets assembled, that's it. The bot repair was finished. Now all the semiconductors being produced will go to the bot workshop instead. And we'll be able to resume bot production. So as you can see, the bot workshops take metal, bioplastics, and semiconductors, are worked on by an engineer, and it produces a specific type of bot based on whatever has been selected. So these 2 stations are, let's see, this one is for a carrier bot, this one's for a construction bot, this one's also a carrier bot, and this is the one for drill bots. So since we will have more carrier bots doing more work, they get 2 workstations instead of just 1. But we have much fewer drill and construction bots. Oh, there comes another traumatic injury. Here, we can actually see that here. So our patient comes in and is like, I got a broken bone. Oh. And so when the patient lays down here in the bed, it basically sends out a ticket, says, okay, any available medic, please come here to the sec bay. And there are medical supplies that are staged in the cabinets. And here comes our medic, grabs a medical supply, and then comes over and treats the patient. If only healthcare were this efficient in real life. It's like, well, here, let me take care of that traumatic injury, and we'll knit that bone back together and use some little bone glue, and presto, you're ready to go back to work. No excuses for taking off work for any length of time. Record injury to fully healed and ready to go back and work in what like 3 minutes? Yeah, less. I'm surprised this hasn't been put together yet. It looks like it's fully... Oh, actually, it's pending a resource? Wait a minute. How could it be pending? Oh, that's right. The bot repair requires 2 semiconductors for each one of these pads. That's why this took a while. So it has 1. 1 more is on its way, and then it will be complete. Oh, okay. So I was wondering why it was taking so long to put this together. So I had forgotten that. So basically 16 semiconductors, and here comes that last one, went into the construction of this area. So the constructor bot brings it and then assembles the bot auto repair. And presto, it is ready to go. Okay, now all of the semiconductors go to, yep, and as you can see, the bot workshops are now getting to work. As semiconductors finally come in to make it possible to make robots again, engineers will be dispatched in order to come and work in the workshops and begin assembling robots until they hit their limit for them. Oh, I guess the sun's going down. Yep, we've... oh no, the sun's coming up. Wow, that's what we were seeing was sunrise. Now, unfortunately, I can't pitch up to look at the sun, but we can see it reflected in the solar panels. I don't know what planet that is. It seems like we're in orbit of Venus. Unless it has a ring. No, it has a ring. No, we're in orbit of Saturn. So, at least that's my theory. The ships in Planetbase don't appear to be faster than light capable. So, my guess is that Planetbase is a game of setting up colonies within our solar system on the various different planets. And all the conditions on the planets seem to mimic what we see throughout our solar system. So, this moon of Saturn is apparently one without any atmosphere, and there are probably a few of those. Just curious to see as the semiconductors start to fill up in the workshops, then we'll have extras available because I'm thinking about producing weapons. what, let's go ahead and do it. We're going to create an arms workshop. So that'll be something new. So guns. I'm going to say that we want, say, 20. That should give us enough firepower to deal with whatever lands on our base, at least initially. Which means I'm going to have to figure out where it is that they are going to go. So let's see. Okay, this is the perimeter of the base. Well, at least for the map. This might make a good entry point for people to come in. Yeah, it's not very far. Uh-oh. Low on oxygen. This is a problem. Okay, well, I guess with having a lot of people working here and then these cabins and they're too far away from an oxygen generator, it's an issue. And oddly, it hasn't come up before now, but I know how I'm going to solve it. We are going to relocate the sickbay. And maybe with good reason, if we're going to have people landing here. Yeah, got quite a few structures that are low on oxygen. Well, here, we can supplement things by firing up a spare oxygen generator. Unfortunately, it's very far away, but it will help as the oxygen migrates through the structure. But what would probably be better is if the sickbay got recycled and an oxygen generator was placed here and connected to this section in order to prevent this from happening in the future. So let's see about doing that. So first things first. This will work out nicely. So the idea here is that this is where our guards will be stationed, and we'll relocate the starport and landing pads out here. We have a small oxygen generator here in order to create this narrow corridor. So the only way in for these people will be to come through airlocks that are located here, where they have to go through all these armed guards in order to enter the base. So if they come in hostile and they want to fight, then they're going to fight in this narrow corridor and get shot. At least that's the idea. Now, if a single airlock is too busy, we could have overflow attackers go to another airlock. That's why I want to provide enough airlocks for them to all be able to come in simultaneously, so they don't go someplace else. I don't want them to have an excuse to path to a different airlock. I want them all to come through here and be greeted properly. Oh, this apparently is outside the perimeter. Yeah, and that one's too far. So here, let's see if we can get away with a landing pad. Yes, we can. There's a perimeter of the map. I can't see it. There it is. And beyond that, you can't build. So I'm building as far out as I can. Now here's the bad part. If someone gets injured mining, they're going to have a very long walk to the sickbay. But let's go ahead and start recycling. This will induce everyone to take these materials out. So that they go into storage. I can't shut it down until it's been connected. Certain structures, we were talking about priority earlier, have priority. Anything that's life and safety gets built first. That's why they went and built the oxygen generator before building the structures that it would connect to. Airlocks, I believe, fall into that category also. At least I think so. That's the way it seems like Planetbase's logic works out. No, like I said, up to this point, I've been kind of against the idea of setting up guards, simply because of the amount of work it takes and all the fighting. But at the same time, I've got to recruit almost another 200 colonists, and shutting down the base constantly because of a few attackers is starting to be a real drag. And so I'm going to go ahead and bite the bullet. Okay, so first we need an armory. Then we'll put in security consoles. This will help guards to be stationed here so that they are waiting to greet unwelcome guests. And they will have their own, here, we'll go ahead and shut that down. Until it's needed, we'll have a canteen nearby that's ready to supply them. And then, of course, there will be a bar, so if the guards need food or entertainment to feel better and more happy, those will all be available nearby. There we go. And our sick bay is up. So this way, having a sick bay near the guards in the event that they're injured in a firefight and are wounded and dying, we can get them medical attention right away so that we don't lose them unnecessarily. I'm trying to ensure that our colonists don't die, because every colonist who dies takes us back from our goal of reaching 300. But before we can recruit any guards, we need to see about getting some weapons. The guards won't be effective without their weapons. heard that sound effect, meaning we're just a little bit over on water consumption. So, oh, whoops. And we do have reserves, so the reserves will do us okay for now. So I'm not worried about it. Okay, good. The medical cabinet is up. Our colonists get grumpy if they have to walk too far with things, and the base is really expanding, so yeah, there's a little bit of walking to do. Now, I plan to recycle my existing starport and landing pad, but I didn't do it yet because, and this is more Planetbase logic or lack thereof, is that if I were to recycle the starport, there might be some idiot human colonist who grabs a piece of metal and decides that he's going to walk on the surface all the way to the new construction site. Of course, he would fall down and asphyxiate of lack of oxygen before he got here. And there would be nothing I could do to stop him from his suicidal, construction endeavor once he decided to do that. So it's easier if I just build these first and then go recycle the other ones, and that way they'll get pulled in and placed into storage in the nearest airlock instead of somebody trying to walking them across the surface. Guys, where are you going with this? Going to metal connection. Oh, okay, so they're probably putting it for the canteen here. They're all pissed off and tired, and unfortunately that canteen is not online and neither is the bar, so if you're tired or hungry, you've got a long walk back to wherever you go. One thing, I don't know if they'll put it in Planetbase too. They could always put in like trams or something. I always liked that. And there was a science fiction show called Space 1999 that came out in the 60s about life on the moon at the turn of the century. And so they had basically a little city in space, and it had little trams that ran underground in order to go around. Of course, I've seen some people are like, well, why would you bother to dig it to go underground? It's like, well, you understand, like micrometeorites and stuff are falling out of the sky all the time. You'd be dealing with constantly patching the network, or shucky darn, you could put it underground so that you get shielding from the lunar surface. Yes, of course they would put it underground. I always love these people who critique these space shows that, the ones that are less about magical things. Star Trek, it's like, oh, look, the replicator, it just comes out of nothing. Yes, it's fantastical. Those shows, yeah, science goes kind of out the window. But something where it's a little bit closer to reality, like Space 1999 or The Expanse. Granted, The Expanse takes a couple of liberties here and there, but by and large, it's mostly set in modern physics. They just come up with, and we have these hyper-efficient engines, and other than that, it's very, very grounded. And, the technology that they do show is not that far from reality anyways. One way or another, we'll figure out how to make the engines more efficient, so it's very likely that the future will look a lot like what you see in The Expanse, with one exception. Of course, they were limited by, how they could make their actors look in low gravity, because at first they make a point of saying, yes, we're in low gravity or microgravity environments. We got magnetic boots. But then after a while, it's kind of hand waved around, and everybody's walking around inside their ships as if it's 1G all the time. And I understand it's probably a budget thing. Plus, people who grew up in microgravity environments would look very different. They made an effort for those first few episodes to find people who were really skinny with really long arms. We're talking like the children of Slender Man. That's probably what you would look like if you didn't have gravity pulling on you all the time. Um, One thing I did like in The Expanse was when they have people who grew up on Mars come to Earth, step one is they have to take various different injections to build their muscles and their bone density rapidly because their bodies aren't used to it. Whoa, I forgot. I didn't have these turned off yet, and they just got built. Hopefully this is not an attack. Please don't be an attack. It's an attack! Crud. All right, everybody, get inside. Now, fortunately, they've landed so far from the other airlocks, everyone should have plenty of time to get indoors. So with luck, this will be the last time I have to lock all the airlocks to lock attackers out. Yep, here they come. We do have a robot out there. Okay, and that is powered down. We'll let the construction bot in, and then we will shut that airlock. Yeah, they were just waiting for us to open up a landing pad. Okay, everything looks clear. Okay, so we can kill the alert, and everybody can go about business as usual inside the colony. In fact, while I'm at it, I want to recycle this, but it would split the base, so I have to put in a little thing here. This I can recycle. So when everybody comes out, they'll be able to clean up that mess, and we're not going to use that landing pad or starport anymore. Oh, there's still a robot in there. He's like, I didn't hear nothing. I'm still working. It's like, great, you do that. You don't need oxygen. They do. Yeah, these guys are not here for any good reason. Okay, see, our cabin is consistently having oxygen problems. And what are you doing here? Oh, great. Now I've got someone on the surface. Here, let me open up a airlock for you. I'd like you to get inside, please. I'll put the alert back in effect because I don't want anyone diving out that airlock and saying, oh, now I can go back to work. I'm like, no, you cannot. So we are at yellow alert, which induces all colonists and robots to re-enter the facility. Okay, and there we go. All right, so we have our new starports and landing pad over here, and plenty of ways for them to come in. We need to make enough weapons to make it worthwhile to open up a control center and recruit a bunch of guards. Because right now, the amount of attackers that we saw just land would overwhelm a couple of guards with just, a few weapons. So. Oh, and then meanwhile, while all this is going on, of course, food stocks are still declining. We have the biologists, so in our next episode, because I'm looking at the clock here, this is probably a good spot to end this video here. Oh, yeah. Running low on oxygen here, because too many people and too tight a space. We'll fix that with another oxygen generator here. I guess it hadn't come up before because these facilities had been idled, and so as a result, we had been able to maintain the oxygen we needed in the cabins, but now we're over now that production has resumed. And then plus we have a lot of people here. We've added more facilities that are consuming the oxygen before it ever gets to these areas in the back, so need another generator. But we'll see about attaching one right here. So before we go, let's see. Ah, good, these guys are about to die. See how bad the water situation is. Not too bad. We've got plenty of reserves. The water that we are able to extract goes up and down based on the surface level heat of the planet, or moon in this case, and so when it gets cold, it gets a little harder to get the water out. So the sun comes up and it'll probably go, yeah, see now we're meeting the need again, and watch, it'll probably go back up and then we'll fill our reserves back up. At least that's my guess. Meanwhile, these guys, you know what, here, we'll speed time up a little bit, because all we can do is wait. Would you kindly die? Okay, so now we can resume normal operations, but here, I'm going to put us on yellow alert simply so that everyone doesn't barrel out the single airlock. I want to open all the airlocks. Okay, I think I've gotten them all. Okay, so now all the airlocks are open and normal operations can resume. Yeah, we need guards. This is getting just too annoying, and it really does impede trying to reach 300 colonists. I'm constantly terrified of every ship that lands. So we are going to recruit a bunch of guards, and we are going to arm them to the teeth and see about dealing with this issue. Okay, and oh shoot, I was hoping he was coming to pick up the last piece of bioplastic there. Maybe this guy is. Okay, so this is the solution to our problem, by the way. I specifically chose a small oxygen generator so that I'm not consuming more bulkhead space than I need to. Well, no, you know what? I guess I don't have to. Let's see if I can fit a large one in there. I was thinking that I wanted to, because with the robotics facility, bulkhead space is irrelevant. Everything is done in the middle. The lab, on the other hand, it determines how much space you have to do things, but this lab doesn't really have much in it anyway, so who cares if it's a little wider. And once this is built, we will never have oxygen problems in this section again. because it will feed directly. As you can see, the color change indicating it has dropped below 17%. So 16 and below is where we start to have issues. Here it's 17, so it's still lit up. But there are enough materials that we should be able to rapidly put up a new oxygen generator and take care of that problem. Oh, and we have our new canteen. Let's go ahead and power it down. And the last thing we'll do for this episode is we will stage out where the meal makers will go. So when this canteen gets activated, we'll be able to have lots of meal makers ready to feed the guards and anybody else who comes out to this area. Now, before all this stuff can be activated, of course, we have to have enough arms to arm our guards, and so we want at least a minimum for all these stations, because I'd like to have all the stations manned. And as you can see here, we have a total of, let's see, I think 11 stations. So we gave up one so that we would have an armory right there. That way, as new guards come in, they should be able to get their weapon and be able to go right to work. Instead of, having to get your weapon, then come all the way back, and then maybe an attack happens. It would be just my luck. It's actually happened where I had a whole bunch of guards land, and then right behind them, hostile attackers came in, and the guards didn't have weapons yet, and as a result, more of them died than should have. So we're going to try to prevent that. Oh, and then the other thing is that before we can activate these new biodomes, we need to increase the amount of water we're extracting. So as you can see, our water extraction, it's above the limit. I mean, actually quite a bit. We're 10 above the limit. But as we bring more facilities online, like canteens and whatnot that consume water, it's going to put us under very soon. Oh, same thing with the biodomes. As a quick example, let's see. So this canteen is using 0.5 of the water. The biodome is using 4. Nothing is being used by the multi-dome. It can have water fountains, but I didn't put anything in it. The bar is using 4 also. So this bar consumes as much as a biodome does for all of its drinks machines and whatnot. So. And we have all these facilities here that are going to use more water. So in our next episode, we will expand the water extraction facilities and water towers so that we have plenty of reserve water for all the new facilities we'll expand to in order to bring in new colonists. Until then, here, let me go ahead and save my spot. And I look forward to seeing you next time here on Joe's Super Fantabulous PC Gaming channel as we have more fun with Planetbase with the Dark Colony. See you next time.